Hey, Lee, how do I choose a distributor?
That's a great question. We will answer that in this episode of The Williford Brothers.
Welcome back to another episode of the Williford Brothers. We are your show hosts, Luke and
Lee Williford.
We're excited to be with you. The question today is, how do I choose a distributor? This was brought to us through a YouTube comment, and we want to answer that. So what I can tell you is that, unfortunately, a lot of people make the decision based off choosing the distributor they like rather than the equipment they want. So, Lee, can you explain the just distribution model and how that works? And
Sure. Yeah. So, having been in this industry for long enough, we have learned that laundromat operators are not the primary customer of most distributors. Now, we will try not to talk in definitives because there are exceptions to every rule. So we're not naming names, and we will be as broad as we can without being offensive. So most distributors do not have laundromat operators as their primary customer. Most distributors are just looking to sell equipment. Sometimes they make the misstep of making sure that they create successful laundromat operators who will become multi-store owners and therefore buy many stores worth of equipment from them. Instead, they just try to find the next person who's going to buy more equipment, which is very short-term focused. That's just a nature of the industry. So we also know that from a manufacturing standpoint, laundromat owners and operators are not manufacturers' primary customers either. Distributors are manufacturers' primary customers. So those manufacturers make equipment and they try to get their customers, the distributors, to buy their equipment as much as they can. And we've seen that especially in these supply chain issues. Distributors just fill up the pipeline for these manufacturers so that they can make sure that they have enough equipment to sell. So when we talk about manufacturers down to the distributor, in making your decision for who you will buy your equipment from, you should base that decision on the long-term longevity of the equipment. That is the brand that you're going to choose. Most of the brands on the market now last 10, 15, some of them maybe even 20 years. I'm sure there will be some issues with people using secondary, tertiary suppliers with components that might not stand up like they did before COVID. But overall, most of the equipment lasts a pretty good time. There's also consistency. Lots of companies really love the tax advantages that research and development gives them. So what they do is they create a model and then they hire a team and they spend all this money on research and development, and they're redoing these models year in and year out. And before you know it, all the equipment that you have now requires different parts than the new equipment, and that becomes a little bit of a nightmare when you're doing maintenance. So we have made the decision to go with the Dexter brand. That's just who we chose many years ago, and we chose the brand because the brand is going to sit in our store day in and day out and serve our primary customer. Our distributor is not going to do that. We don't have an ongoing daily, weekly, monthly, even yearly relationship with our distributor because we do most of our service. So therefore, we're not having to call in and have this relationship with our distributor because we're doing our own service. We're doing our own installation. Luke leads all of those teams really well. And so we want to make sure that you know when you're buying, whether your first store or your third store, your 10th store's equipment, that you are basing it on the manufacturer of the equipment that is the best for you. You want to optimize the consistency, the usability, because your primary customer that comes in with dirty laundry is not going to go to another store simply because you've got Speed Queen, Hipsch, Dexter, Continental, Maytag, whatever it might be. You just want to make sure that you're buying reliable equipment that is easy to work on. And yes, you'll have to call your distributor every now and then because the parts world is a whole nother story. That's probably another episode we could do.
Yes.
Just to make sure that you are not tying yourself to a distributor because your sales guy's probably going to change. Your distributor's probably going to get bought out at some point in time, like has been the case for the last 5 years. A lot of consolidation in the distribution side. So those things will change. What you want to make sure is that you go with what is changing the least. So that's why we've gone with our brand of Dexter equipment and trying to understand exactly how the manufacturer, distributor, and actual laundromat equipment buyer works.
Well, Lee, somebody watching may say, well, I do need that distributor for that support. So that may actually go into their decision if the distributor actually has a presence there, whether they choose Alliance, Hips, or Speed Queen, or Dexter, or Continental, or Maytag. I don't want to leave anybody out, Fagor, some of the different ones. But the decision should be made off the equipment because, like Lee said, that's going to be what's working for you day in and day out. And you can be successful with any of those.
That's right.
And you get to do the vetting and choosing. Our experience, we've made our decision, and we've stuck with it because we want our brand to be consistent. We are sticklers on consistency.
Yes.
And that's one of the testaments of how we've been able to scale our operation. And when we train our technicians, they learn it and they carry the parts on their van. And, there's one type of washer, dryer, and it really helps. We do have a couple of stores that we've acquired with different brands, and they work fine too. They fill up with water and wash clothes. So you can be successful with any type of brand. But when choosing which type of brand, don't make that decision based off something that could change tomorrow, and that being that distributor who you like. And relationships are important, but that could change tomorrow.
That's right.
And most likely, most of the distributors, they have never successfully operated laundromats. There's a few out there who have, but you're going to them for advice on something they've never scaled themselves. So just be wary of who you take advice from in this industry. And there's definitely a place for distributors to fill a value gap there between manufacturers and laundromat owners. And many do, I'm sure, but some don't. But at the end of the day, choose the type of equipment you want, not the personality of the distributor.
Yep. Yeah, because 15 years from now, after you install that equipment, most likely your sales guy is not going to be there. The guy who was working on them when you first installed them is not going to be there, but that equipment is going to be there. And you want to make sure that you've made a good long-term investment.
And in most markets, if you are concerned about long-term service, you can always pay. There's local technicians across the country. There's lists that you can go through of guys who can come and keep your equipment going. And then making the decision based off price. I talk with a lot of people, and they make it based off price. One's $350,000, the other's $325,000. Well, that $25,000 doesn't really matter in the lifespan of your business. Make sure you choose the right equipment for you, what you feel good about, and choose the same. You want to choose the same equipment for the next location. A lot of owners end up going with a different brand of equipment, and it's oftentimes not because they didn't like the equipment. It's because the distributor, their relationship fell through. So that was just emotional, and we never want to make emotional decisions.
We hear that much more often than we do. Oh, I didn't really like that equipment, so I'm going to go with something else. It's, oh my goodness, I'm not buying equipment from them.
From that person.
Which is unfortunate. I mean, I hate that.
Yep. Make your decision based off the equipment. And what else? So price and just for your marketing, if you're looking, and everybody I talk to is looking to scale their laundromat business, they've got to create a brand. And brand consistency is so important. That's why there is a place in our industry for these franchises that are coming out, because owners just don't brand and market like they should.
Yes.
So, choose the distributor based off the equipment. The Clean Show's coming up. Go to the Clean Show.
Yes.
Talk to other owners.
Yes, sign up today. Plan your trip.
Yes, go to the Clean Show. But while you're there, you're going to get to put your hands on every piece of equipment. And you decide what the pros and cons are and what you're going to make your decision on. Every one of those vendors, manufacturers, is going to be able to show you the great things about theirs. And a lot of them will show you why theirs is better than the next person. But at the end of the day, you've got to decide which equipment that you want to go with.
Yes.
And you have to buy the equipment from whichever distributor is in that territory.
And they're everywhere. There is a distributor for every manufacturer throughout the country. I don't believe that there's any manufacturer who does not deliver to anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah, no, they'll deliver.
Yeah. So you can find a manufacturer or a distributor in your area for whichever manufacturer it is you go to. And one thing about the Clean Show, this is going to sound funny, but one of my favorite things to do, especially as a younger kid, was find a 20-pound machine for every manufacturer and go and try to tip it over. Don't let anybody see you, but try and find out who makes heavy-duty stuff. And that'll tell you a lot.
Yeah, the weight, the weight of these things. Yep. We're looking for these things to last. If they can last, 18 years instead of 12, that's 6 years.
Yes.
That's important. And it also, not only the brand of equipment, but the maintenance that you keeping it up, is dependent upon the longevity of the equipment.
Yep. Good quality product.
Go to the Clean Show. You can put your hands on that equipment and talk to actual owners who operate. I know successful multi-store owners with almost every brand of equipment. So you can be successful with any of the brands of equipment.
That's right.
But make your decision and stick with it. Don't change every order for the rest of your, I don't like them, so I'm going to order these dryers and half this, half that.
Yeah, and if you go to the Clean Show, or when you go to the Clean Show and you talk to the different manufacturers, ask them who your distributor is and ask them how long they have been the distributor. I think that'll give you a good sense of what changes have been made within the distribution network of laundry equipment over the past 5 years or so. And you'll get a sense of just how often it does change. So again, don't make your decision primarily based on what changes and what is going to change versus the reliability, the longevity of the equipment that you're going to put in your store that's going to work all day, every day.
Yep. And one of the questions I always ask a distributor is, how many times have you worked with the same owner? So you've sold 100 laundromats. How many of those are the same
There's
owner?
100 owners?
Is there 100 owners?
Yeah.
So that tells me a lot about a distributor. Because their goal should be to make someone successful, and then let's duplicate that again. And I promise you, distributors who make an owner successful, set them up for success, and they make their commission and all that good stuff, the owner, he's going to be happy to buy that second store.
Right. Yep.
If he's well taken care of and that sort of thing. Another thing that I don't know if I should even say here, a lot of times laundromat owners call me, and as soon as they find a space, anything, the distributor's their first call. That is the last person you want to be your first call. Because, why? Let me explain why real quick. Your distributor has qualified guys who can pay cash for equipment that he knows. He's got a long list. So you're calling him. You've never purchased equipment from him before. This other person's purchased millions of dollars of equipment, whoever that might be. So a lot of times, that information is so important in this business. So if you share that, he's going to let somebody else possibly know about that location or vice versa. Or you just have to keep things confidential as far as information. And your distributor, he's getting a call every day from qualified buyers wanting to put in laundromats, looking for locations. That yes, a distributor can find a location for you and build it out. I've not seen that be done successful a whole lot. Typically, the premium that is charged for if a distributor signs a lease, and then you take it over and they build it out for you. The construction is higher, the equipment's higher. It's just all very high.
The
and you
entry fees very expensive.
Pay a high premium that leaves you with not a whole lot of room for return.
That's
and
right.
this isn't every case, so I'm not blanketing this across, but just know everyone's got incentive, and their incentive is to sell laundry equipment and make as great a margin as they can.
Yep. And go back and listen to our how to lay out a laundromat episode, and you can get a sense of exactly what your layout needs to be based on the space that you're looking at, and lay it out yourself. Go in, make measurements, and tell the distributor the ship to address as soon as you've got the space under lease and ready to order the equipment.
Yeah. Which brings up, just a few days ago, I was working with somebody, and we were able, the original layout that the distributor had put out was $590,000 worth of laundry equipment in a 3,000 square foot space. And after I went through it and created the layout that was needed, the equipment cost went from $590 to I think $380. So that's what, $210,000.
Yep.
So we just talked about our laundromat boot camp, and $210,000. I think that call that person did with me to do that layout was
it was worth it.
Unbelievable ROI. We know the human element's always there, and we know, but when you get to know your distributor, let him know the things that you need done. Set your expectations, and choose your equipment. Try to look 20 years out and think, what decision should I make right now?
Yes.
Don't make short-term decisions. Don't switch equipment just because, for any reason. Don't. If
go
it's
back
what
and
you
forth.
have, don't go back and forth.
Yeah. These are long-term decisions. Yes. So make the manufacturer the biggest, heaviest variable in that decision-making process.
Yeah. I am upset because about 8 years ago, we were putting in a different tile floor than we're putting in now. I'm like, I want it all to be exactly the same, from the Coke machine to the vending machine to the equipment, because I want that brand consistency. When they take that car and go from location to location, they know what to expect. I want large capacity at every store. I want plenty of space at every store. Yep. We hope that helps you understand how to choose your distributor, but really how to choose the equipment that you're going to offer to your patrons. Our industry, each manufacturer has a geography for a distributor in everywhere in the country. You can look that up online. You can't order your equipment online yet, I don't think. But
most.
Not yet. But find out who, if you're really liking, Speed Queen or whoever it might be, Dexter, look up who that distributor is and go meet with them.
Yeah.
Drive
and let
up
them know that you are going with them. You want to go with them because of the line that they carry. Yep.
Yeah. And let them know you're coming in as an educated buyer.
Yes.
You know,
Especially
even
if this
if
is your first, second store. Yes.
Yeah. Even if you've not bought a store before, you're still educated because you've watched the Williford Brothers show. We've done it many, many, many times, and we want you to go in there with confidence, okay? Because we want to protect, and this is the why we do this. We want to protect your best interest.
Yes.
We
your
are here
hard-earned
to
money.
serve you,
Yes.
laundromat owners, and potential laundromat owners.
We are your advocates.
That is what we exist to do. We are laundromat owners, and we've been through a lot of the different things, and we want to help you. So if we help you, please let us know.
Yeah.
That really fulfills us. But leave something in the comments. Ask questions. This came from, I looked it up, JP. Thank you for asking this question. Very great question. Glad we could answer today. And go to our website, thewillifordbrothers.com. We do have a boot camp coming up September 20th, 21st, and 22nd, where you can come here to Raleigh. There's 3 spaces available, and
Come look behind the curtain.
We look to
show
share
you our operations.
Share the future dates soon, because we're going to have some more of those. But thank you guys for listening. Go chase your dreams. Go get after it. Take action. Go tour laundromats. Go paint the walls in your store, brand your store, do something. We want to inspire you to take
Serve
action.
your customers well.
Yep. A lot of people are going to benefit from you. God
Yes.
bless you guys. God bless your business. Thank you for tuning in. And like, follow, subscribe, all the great things. TheWillifordBrothers.com and at The Williford Brothers on social media and stuff. Thank you so much for watching.
See you next time.